What type of insurance policies are a must-have? I sell insurance. A lot of insurance. Millions of dollars a year worth of it. That being said, I sell a lot because I help people understand risk and their own tolerance and help them understand where to maximize their value and security. I consider insurance policies only to be a must-have in two situations. 1. Required by law. E.g. workers' compensation or in some state disability. Also auto insurance for most people unless you can self-insure and have a bond on file to prove your exemption. 2. You or your business or the people you care about can't afford the negative outcome from the catastrophic loss. A. Providing for children if you die would require life insurance. B. Ending up in the hospital would require health insurance. C. Losing your ability to work and earn a living would require disability insurance. D. Ending up in a long-term care facility can wipe out your life's savings pretty fast too, so adding an LTC rider to your life insurance policy is a good idea and the most economical way to insure that risk. E. Homeowners renters insurance. The setback risk isn't worth the minimal cost to insure. Things that are not required to insure are usually smaller risks or things that are nice to haves but won't ruin your life if they go wrong. 1. Your cell phone. If it broke, you could buy a cheaper one and still make calls too. Dental insurance. Most plans max out at $1,000 to $2,500 a year. The very best go to $5,000 worth of benefits but charge you $60 per month or $720 per year. Most people wouldn't be financially ruined for having a $2,500 expense if they had $720 to put towards it. 3. Vision insurance. Same logic as dental. Small premiums but also small and predictable benefits. 4. Appliances or that thing you just bought on Amazon. Spend a little more and buy a quality item. Your fridge shouldn't fall apart in 10 years, your stove should be fine unless you're running a commercial bakery from your kitchen. Or go cheaper and buy used and save the insurance money for a replacement if anything happens. Businesses are different animals to insure. Disclaimer: I'm a benefits guy, not a P&C, property and casualty, expert. I would talk to a P&C specialist. Most business risk is covered under P&C policies. Benefits your employees expect it, and it's relatively cheap for a company to offer great programs that can really positively impact your staff and help reduce turnover, financial stresses and more. The cost to your company is minimal compared to the goodwill you may gain from doing it. Required? No. Recommended? Definitely. Workers' compensation, required by law in most states. Disability, either required or a no-brainer to offer. It's silly cheap when purchased as a group compared to as an individual. It's about 1/10 the cost if the company buys it for everyone. Cyber recommended if you work online, manage client data, payments, socials, dates of birth, EPLI. I would argue it's required these days. The cost of a claim against your company could wipe out years of work or even bankrupt you. The premiums aren't cheap, but the cost of not having it could mean the death of your business livelihood for you and your other employees. Business overhead. Talk to an advisor. General liability. Get it, you'll need it sooner or later. I'd put this in the almost required column. Key man policies. Life and disability plans that pay your business the cash needed to keep operating if a key person can no longer work. May or may not be highly recommended depending on how replaceable any member in your team is. In order of importance, geared towards individuals. If you want an answer for businesses, just clarify that in another A2A, preferably include what type of industry you're asking about. 2. IMHO. 1. Auto liability. The biggest potential to be liable for large dollar amounts in damages and possible to be liable without really doing anything negligent. This is a huge, common misconception. I'm a safe driver, I don't need much insurance. I have a client that tapped someone's bumper. Accident analysis confirms at less than 5 miles per hour at impact. Scratched bumper repair cost $30. The other driver is suing for emotional damages to her child, whom she claims has PTSD from the accident, and refuses to get back into a car. This is America. 2. Liability for any dwellings, buildings, properties. Even trespassers can sue you for big dollar, and a trip and fall is exceedingly hard to defend. Many are settled for 5 figures, and that's considered a win. The liability can be procured on its own if you don't want property coverage for the structure, monoline liability, or as part of a homeowner's business owner's dwelling fire commercial package policy. 3. Health insurance. Even if it's high deductible, you need it to prevent catastrophic loss leading to possible liens on any properties. 4. Life insurance. Sure, you'll be gone if you need it, but the earlier you buy, the less expensive it is. Your loved ones need it now. We start getting into optional policies that are most necessary for folks making over $75,000 USD and/or sole primary breadwinners who have young children. 5. Short-term, long-term disability. Self-explanatory. Fills in gaps in systems like workers' comp, Social Security, etc. And there are gaps. 6. Long-term care. Very expensive policies. Will cover in-home care, sometimes indefinitely, more commonly for a period of time, and then the cost of assisted living facilities when you can no longer live alone, care for yourself. As always, this doesn't constitute insurance or legal advice. I'm only a P&C agent and only in CT, not licensed to sell, advise on life, health lines. Purely academic discussion. You all know the drill. Cheers. Health insurance, auto if you own a car, renters or homeowners insurance, umbrella and disability insurance if you are earning a salary. Health insurance, I've seen too many people avoid doctors because they don't have insurance. As a result, conditions that may not have been too serious if found early had a significant impact by the time they got to a doctor. Even just waiting to go to an emergency room with insurance can bankrupt some. Auto, depending on the age of your car, and if you have a loan, you may not need more than your state's minimums. I'm a fan of uninsured underinsured because it covers your car in parking lots as well as hit and runs. Mistakes I see here are people not getting enough coverage. Homeowners and renters, in general, I think many people have homeowners insurance because they have a mortgage. But all too often they don't review what it covers, so their home's values will increase but the coverage doesn't. Renters insurance is inexpensive, yet I see far too many people renting and not protecting themselves. Umbrella insurance is meant to protect you when the coverage of your home or auto isn't enough. Think lawsuits. This is another inexpensive insurance that can make a huge difference if you ever need it. Your dog bites someone, you cause a car accident, etc. Disability, our incomes are often the biggest asset we have, yet we don't think about it in those terms. Workers' comp is available if you get hurt on the job, and you can prove it. Some employers will provide coverage, but if you are self-employed, you really need to protect yourself.